And we're back now to answer your legal questions. Joining me this week is Lacosia Roberts with the Southwest Louisiana Law Center, and thanks for coming in today.
Thank you for having me, Ms. Agnes.
Well, let's get to our first question. Daylight saving time always messes up my body clock during the first few days. I prefer when it ends and the time falls back and we get back an hour's sleep. Is there a way that laws can be passed to get rid of this daylight savings time?
Well, actually, I understand our viewers' position on this. I feel the same way. But actually, the bill in Louisiana in 2020, Bill 132, was passed to do just the opposite, unfortunately. That bill's purpose was to make daylight saving time permanent in Louisiana. Now, that is up to the federal government to make that change. Now, there have been several states that have passed bills to establish year-round daylight saving time, including, like I said, the state of Louisiana. However, those states, as well as Louisiana's law, cannot go into effect as long as Congress maintains the federal law that's in effect, and that's known as the Uniform Time Act of 1966. Now, that act mandates the United States to use daylight saving time, but allows states to opt out, but does not allow those states to permanently establish daylight saving time. Now, if our viewer wants to talk to his or her congressperson, I suggest
that they do so.
They do so, exactly.
All right. Now let's get to our next question, and that is, I've been hearing that next year Louisiana legislature will have a fiscal session. What is this, and are there other types of sessions? If there are, then what are they called?
And that is true. Next year will be a fiscal session. Now, a session is the time period during which the legislative branch discusses proposed changes to the law. Those are called bills. Now, there are fiscal sessions. Those occur in odd-numbered years, such as 2025. In those sessions, bills dealing with money matters may be introduced, and each member may still file bills that are not pertaining to money, but they're limited to 5 bills per legislator. The other session is called a regular or general session. Those occur in even-numbered years. All sorts of bills can be introduced, but the legislature cannot vote to introduce new taxes or increase existing taxes during a regular session. And then there are also extraordinary...
Like what we're having now.
Exactly, like what we're having now. Extraordinary sessions or special sessions, and those are called by either the governor or they're convened by the presiding officers of the House and the Senate. The governor or those presiding officers must give at least 5 days notice before the special session begins, and as you may have heard in the report, the deadline is set and they must end by that deadline. Exactly.
All right, let's get to our last question here. I live in Calcasieu Parish and I'm thinking about filing for bankruptcy, but I don't know where to file it. I've been researching and it seems the only place to file is federal court. Can I actually file on my own, and why can't I file my case at the 14th Judicial District Court in Calcasieu?
Good question. Actually, you can file your bankruptcy case on your own. Bankruptcy is a very nuanced area of law, so I would suggest that if the viewer does decide to do that, that he or she is very cautious. Now, jurisdiction of bankruptcy cases lies strictly within federal courts, and that gives the federal courts the authority to hear those cases. That jurisdiction is derived from the power given to Congress by Article 1 of the United States Constitution, and under that article, Congress can establish uniform laws on the subject of bankruptcies throughout the U.S. This is why bankruptcy cases must be held in federal courts or be filed in federal courts. Here in Lake Charles, you can file at the Edwin F. Hunter Jr. Federal Courthouse, which is located at 611 Broad Street in Lake Charles.
All right, some pretty interesting questions there. People wanting to know specific things.
Yes, ma'am.
And we want to thank you for those. And if folks want to come in, give their own legal questions, you can email them to us at news@kplctv.com. We'll send them along to the attorneys at Southwest Louisiana Law Center. And you get your answers every Wednesday right here on 7 News at noon. Remember, civil matters only, please.